I guess I took a view from a young age. I'm getting treated like a criminal, so I might as well start acting like one. And the police harassment was ongoing, and I used to see the blokes coming home from prison, and being fit, and within weeks they got the nice cars, nice clothes, nice girls, nice everything, and they seemed like they're having the time of their life, and I was supposed to be like that, I remember my early role models were bank robbers in particular, everyone knew, because they were the one that'd be out 2 weeks and they got the latest car, like the equivalent of the Mercedes-Benz right now, and living large and not having a care in the world. And, I watched my parents struggle. I watched my parents, they were both factory workers. My mum worked night shift in a plastic factory, my dad worked in a glass factory, and watching them struggle, I didn't want to be that struggle. I didn't want to, have to go to the fucking beach with a packed lunch, and stuff like that. I aspired for more, and, I started engaging in, car stealing and petty theft sort of stuff,
Yeah.
And
around what age, like?
15, around about 15 years old,
Yep.
And I started engaging in that, and I was apprehended. And back then, they didn't have the diversion programs they have today. It was like you got things straight to lock up,
Yep.
And I went to the notorious Daruk Boys Home, which was a subject of a 60-minute story because of the systemic, sexual and physical abuse that took place there. And I didn't escape.
Very notorious place, eh?
Really bad, and a lot of, I look at a lot of, people that are described as real bad people in society, and criminals in particular, and they were recipients of the abuse that happened in Daruk. And, I think Daruk created a lot of badness, created a lot of that bad vibration, and people went on after Daruk to do some pretty heinous crimes. But, and I attribute that to the systemic fucking sexual abuse in particular, and the brutality, the desensitisation. You desensitise a 15-year-old kid, he ain't going to go on to be fucking, he's going to be a fucking, often a very violent person, and that was the case. Daruk produced very, very violent people.
Yep. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Tonksy Media Podcast. As I mentioned previously, I'll be stepping the game up a lot from here on in, with some big names coming on the show, today's guest being one of them. To say I'm honoured to have him share his story here today would be an understatement. This guy suffered a lot of trauma at a young age, where he was a sexual abuse victim inside a Sydney boys' home. This lit a fire in his belly to become the best criminal he could. He became a notorious bank robber and served 23 years in and out of prisons throughout New South Wales and Queensland, until one day he had a wake-up call inside a Brisbane jail cell where his life turned around. I'll let him continue the story, but guys, I introduce to you the man himself, Russell Manser. How are you, my bro?
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No worries, bro. No worries. It's been a long time coming. I just want to say, bro, I'm honoured to have you on, bro. Your story's become a pretty familiar story over the last few years. I'm a big fan of it. Hence why I thought I'd get you on to give my viewers a bit of an insight on who you are and what you do and stuff, bro. Where you've been.
For sure, I appreciate the offer. I love doing podcasts, and I love spreading the message, and something I'm really passionate about, getting that message out that survivors in particular shouldn't suffer in silence. And I'm here to help them start the healing journey. It's something I'm really passionate. I don't have to stop. It's Sunday. I work with 3 people today. But it's not. Something's not a job. It's not work when it's passion.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. Especially coming from the life you've lived, bro. So let's let's take it back, Russ. We'll go back. Give us a bit of a rundown, a bit of an insight on a bit of your childhood and where you come from, and we'll kick it off from there, bro.
For sure. Look, my parents are English immigrants. They came out in 1965. Brought out 3 boys and 1 girl that were born in Liverpool, England. Me and my brother were born in Liverpool, Australia, so we're the only Aussies in our house. Youngest of 6 kids. None of them ever engaged in any social behaviour. I was the black sheep of the family, and growing up in a place called Mount Druitt, it's a low socio-economic area of the western suburbs of Sydney, Fireborough, or Housing Commission House. houses, and people didn't have dreams and aspirations.
Yeah.
People were just accepted their lot as working in a factory or having a trade at best. And I knew from a young kid, from a young age, I wanted more. I used to see. I used to see the people up there going up the bus stops in the morning, jumping on buses to go to work in the factories, and they looked miserable. And and I had an awareness from a young age. I didn't want to live my life like that. And I was always looking for a bit of excitement. And then we started engaging, like, we go up the soccer fields just to, have a fight, fire, just hang around a bonfire and had a bunch of kids and the coppers would start up and bashing us for no other reason than we're from Mount Druitt. And,
Yeah.
and I guess I took a view from a young age. I'm getting treated like a criminal, so I may as well start acting like one. And the police harassment was ongoing, and and I used to see the blokes coming home from prison, and being fit, and within weeks they got the nice cars, nice clothes, nice girls, nice everything, and and they seem like they're having the time of their life, and
Yep.
I aspired to be like that. I remember my early role models were bank robbers in particular. Everyone knew because they were the one. They'd be out 2 weeks and they got the latest car, like the equivalent of the Mercedes Benz right now, and and living large and not having a care in the world. And I watched my parents struggle. I watched my parents. They were both factory workers. My mum worked night shift in a plastic factory. My dad worked in a glass factory, and watching them struggle. I didn't want to be that struggle. I didn't want to. Have to go to the fucking beach with a packed lunch, and stuff like that. I aspired for more, and I started engaging in car stealing and petty theft sort of stuff,
Yeah.
And
Around what age, like?
15, round about 15 years old,
Yep.
And I started engaging in that, and I was apprehended. And back then they didn't have the diversion programs they have today. It was like you got pinched straight to lock up,
Yep.
And I went to the notorious Daruk Boys Home, which was a subject of a 60-minute story because of the systemic, sexual and physical abuse that took place there. And I didn't escape.
Very notorious place, eh? Like,
really bad. And a lot of, I look at a lot of, people that are described as real bad people in society and criminals in particular, and they were recipients of the abuse that happened in Daruk. And, I think Daruk created a lot of badness. It created a lot of that bad vibration, and people went on after Daruk to do some pretty heinous crimes. But, and I attribute that to the systemic fucking sexual abuse in particular, and the brutality, the desensitization. You desensitize a 15-year-old kid, he ain't going to go on to be fucking, he's going to be a fucking, often a very violent person, and that was the case. Daruk produced very, very violent people.
Yep.
I was released from Daruk with a void inside of me, and when I say a void, I had a hole, man. I was empty, I was fucking in a world of fucking pain.
Yeah.
And, I started smoking a lot of pot and that sort of thing. It wasn't too long after I got out of Daruk. I'd done an apprenticeship at Daruk, how to steal Porsches, and, my criminal behaviour escalated whilst in Daruk,
Can I just
my
ask,
ability to, yeah.
like obviously, personally, I've heard your story throughout Daruk Boys Home and stuff, bro. Can you, just for the viewers, my viewers that maybe don't know of you or haven't heard of you, can you give a little bit of an insight of, I know it's a shitty thing to talk about, but what happened in there and stuff, bro?
Sure, it was systemic. They're running a pedophile ring out of there, I have no doubt, because a lot of the sexual abusers that were abusing the children there didn't work there. And you would see, of a night time, you had these dormitories, and you'd see these men, often like 5 at a time, would come in through the back door of the dormitory, and then they'd be walking around the beds, checking out which kid they wanted to abuse, and then waking the kid up and then taking them into it's called the ablutions block. It's basically a toilet block, and sexually abusing them in there. Sometimes they'd take them. I don't know. I never got taken out of there, but other kids would get taken out of the God knows where, and then returned. I can remember you used to be able to get weekend leaves and day leaves out of there. Pedophiles used to come and pick kids up and take them out for the weekend. So, and that was like, I can remember one bloke in particular. It was happening all the time, and this bloke, later was revealed as a really high-profile pedophile. But
Yeah, right.
So yeah, there was a lot of sexual abuse there. There was a lot of physical, and if you didn't conform or anything like that, you would get your head fucking punched in. They would just batter you. And they used to have a thing called the boob. It was basically a segregation unit.
Yep.
They'd take you and flog the shit out of you so everyone towed the line. At one stage, I escaped from Daruk, because of the abuse, and I wanted to stop. And I ran home, and I didn't live too far away from there. It was about a 10K run.
Yep.
And I got home, and they'd been in my parents' house. They said, "Look, if he hands himself in, we will not charge him." And my dad was pretty sick at the time, and I just had an awareness. I didn't really want to hurt him, and I don't think he could take it. It was full of emphysema, and
yep.
so they took me back there. I copped the flogging of my life, more sexual abuse, and then I was later released from Daruk. When I was released, as I said, I had that void. It could only be replaced by drug. I was a kid that was, from a young age, I was a kid that really looked after myself. I was pretty fit. I had an older brother that was a really fit guy and always training, and I picked that up from an early age. And I never smoked a cigarette in my life. So when I started smoking pot,
yep,
and that sort of fulfilled that void a bit. It was numbing me, and that's what I needed to be. I needed to be numb, because if I wasn't numb, I was going to react. I was going to explode, and I had an awareness of that from a young age. And then, I done my apprenticeship how to steal Porsches at Daruk, and I stole a Porsche. Went up to a really affluent area. I was up there today, actually. Whale Beach. It's a really affluent, really pricey place. Yep. I stole a 950 twin turbo Porsche 1984 model. It was like fucking set like an F-18 fighter jet, the speed of it.
Yep.
And
I know the ones.
Yeah, and they're worth about $800,000 now. They're fucking.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it was the first time they ever used a police helicopter in a police chase in Sydney. It just happened to be on us, and we weren't shaking then. And we got apprehended, went before the Jura Children's Court in front of a magistrate called Blackmore, who's now got a few clouds over his head in regards to, what he's done to children or what he's been associated to children. And he sentenced me. He said, "I'm going to sentence you to do 12 months. I stipulated to be served in an adult prison to deter you from future reoffending." And he noted, how dare a boy, kids from Mount Druitt come into an affluent area and steal a Porsche. And, even then I had an awareness. I didn't think it was a crime to be from Mount Druitt, and he was sentenced as the basis of his sentence and his sentencing comments, the fact, he was given his extra time because we were from Mount Druitt.
Yep.
An extra punishment. So off we went to Long Bay Prison, and that was surreal. We didn't think it was real. We didn't think we were going there. We thought it was one of these scared stiff sort of program sort of things, and it wasn't. It was real. And we got there, and we were basically, sexualized by the prison officer themselves in a strip search. They were trying to humiliate us, getting us to, they were asking us to do things that I'd never do now, like asking us to cough, then, strip search, bend down, cough, spread your ass cheeks and all that, and they just seemed to be getting some fucking deviant fucking joy out of it, and placed me in a cell with two blokes that I later found out were convicted pedophiles.
Yeah, right.
I had a mattress on the floor, and I was sexually abused by both of them that night, and I never got a say in it. I would have fucking, people like to say, "Oh, if that happened, I'd buy his dick off it." It doesn't work that way. It doesn't happen that way. It's, fight, flight, or freeze. And, for me, I froze. And I was sexually abused. The next day, my co-accused, we went there with me, he was sexually abused too, in the same fashion I was abused in. And it was just prolific. It was they were feeding pedophiles, convicted pedophiles. They were rewarding them with young boys. They were, and the officers thought it was quite funny. And then the next bloke sexually abused me was a necrophiliac, a person who's a really well-known one too, a person who has sex with dead bodies. And,
fucking sick.
And he introduced me to heroin. He said, give me a shot of heroin, and I was really fucking numb, and I just knew that was for me. I knew heroin was for me. I knew that the only way I was ever going to feel normal again was by using heroin.
And so this was in prison, correct?
Yeah, 1984. Central Industrial Prison at Long Bay.
Yeah.
The jail itself was like one of the toughest jails. But if they would have put us in the mainstream population, we would have been safe. They put us in a one-wing protection unit. They're telling us it's for our own safety because we're not 18 years old. They put us with the worst of the worst and tried to tell us it was for our own safety. Like, fuck, you don't have to be a fucking Einstein to work out that weren't going to pan out too well.
Yeah, 100%.
No thought went in. Once again, I'm a big believer it was government sanction. I believe that they knew exactly what was going on and what would be. Why Freddie could have seen what the outcome was. You put a young 16-year-old boy in with 2 convicted pedophiles, you know what's going to be the fucking.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting.
That's fucking wrong, man. It really is. You know, it's fucking sick. You know, like, yeah.
Beating them, and nothing's changed with pedophiles.
Yeah.
And it scares me when they go, you know, they want these young kids locking up in an adult prison. I say, you don't want that, you know. Oh, no, they'll be sweet. Well, you told me that, you know, everyone thought I was going to be sweet and I wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
And they can't, there's no assurance, and they're so cunning, them pedophiles, and how they position themselves. You know, and the average screw's got an IQ of a fucking bull ant, and they're fucking easy manipulated, and them fucking pedophiles will run rings around them.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, I was eventually let out. I got a transfer back to the boys' home, and then eventually let out. But I had a taste from heroin, and my parents were living out at. My mum was living out at Liverpool, which is right next to Cabramatta, and you know, and the heroin epidemic was just kicking off there, and off I went. I started using every day, and just to feel normal. Like I had something in me from here. I was like a cancer. The only thing that could make that cancer go away was heroin, and I chased it and chased it and chased it to the point I was later arrested. About 8 months later arrested, and for breaking into a bunch of department stores. And here we go again, you know. But I went to a mainstream prison, and there's a guy called Gary Stokes, Casper Stokes. He was the one who punched a fine defaulter up and turned him into a vegetable. Just big shout out to that guy. He fucking protected us. He told everyone, these kids, you fucking don't even look at them, you know what I mean? And not that they would have. It was a different type of offender that we were replaced with. We were replaced with real criminals like bank robbers and fucking whatever and ever, but there was no sex offenders around us who could have caused us any problems. And you know, I always remember I always remember kindness. I always remember everyone's kindness in prison because there's not a lot of it in there.
Yeah. I'm hearing you there, fucking oath.
You know, there's not a lot of kindness and there's not a lot of love and all those things that people need for healing. And you know, I gravitated to the bank robbers. I wanted to know everything, you know, what it was to be a bank robber. And I learned every trick. I just sat and I was just a fucking sponge. And I used to listen to these blokes talk, you know. And some of the things I picked up, you know, by the good one, the smart ones would just say, man, what you do is you don't make people panic. You don't go in there yelling and screaming and trying to fucking really get people scared. And, you know, that's something me off of that envelope because I'm not that type of person who likes to terrorise people. The main objective is to get the money, get in and out as quick as you can, you know. And, mate, and, you know, one bloke said, even fucking say sorry on the way out or something, which I did. And I got the nickname the gentleman bank robber.
Yep.
And, you know, and I got out after I'd done about 2.5 years on that one. And, you know, by this time I don't know. But, you know, with every intentions, you know, the bloke I robbed my first bank's in the next room, he's asleep, you know.
Yeah.
And him and I robbed our first bank together and Commonwealth Bank of Gordon. And I loved it. What I loved was the money. What I loved coming out of banks was you're living on the precipice of death, right? Back then, Roger Rogerson and his merry men were killing people. So you didn't know you were going to come out and get your head blown off. And that was exciting. That was really exciting because I didn't give a fuck if I lived or died. I was a kid that was in a fucking world of pain. Government sanctioned. The government done this to me. They have fucking created all this fucking pain in me and all these stiffs. And then they say, oh, if you don't do the crime, don't do the crime. Well, pedophiles don't fucking, you know, are not the answer to fucking getting kids.
Yeah,
fucking
that's
not
right.
Fine. Do that, we've got some fucking, you know. But there is people in society that thinks it's a good idea, you know. There is some sick and twisted people. I think that's fucking shit kosher. Yep. You know, long story short, I went on a bank robbing spree, and you know, I think I ended up getting arrested for three initially. And you know, by that stage, I had it all. Like, I had so much money that I could never spend. I had cars and all of that stuff, all that superficial stuff, like the clothes that you buy to make you feel better, the car that you buy to make you feel better, you know, the furniture you buy to make you feel better. But when I woke up first thing in the morning without the heroin in me, I felt like shit. I felt like, you know, nightmares throughout the night. I was haunted. All those superficial things that I thought were going to take the pain away, which I started thanks for in the first place, they were the biggest fucking letdown. It was a big anticlimax, you know. It didn't help me. And
can I just ask, Russ? Like, obviously you're heavy into an addiction here, you know, but you're also obviously you've got all this cash. You're looked at as this fucking, you know, fucking bloke with all the money, all the assets, this and that. What was your physical appearance like? You know, like, because I know a lot of addicts, mate. I come from that background myself. You know, I've had an addiction myself. And I know, you know, you don't look like, you definitely wouldn't have looked like you look today. You know, so.
But I used to dress it up, mate. You know what? Yeah, I would have lost weight. I've got a photo of me on a GSXR motorbike. I was thin. But you throw like really extremely good clothes over the top of that, and you don't look that bad.
Yep.
You know, you gaunt in the face. Yeah, I was sort of, you know, I was fucking pretty skinny.
Yep.
You know, and gaunt in the face, really gaunt in the face. But I just look like a skinny kid, you know.
Yep.
I'm not one of those people when my drug of choice is heroin. I'm not one of those people that can hide it. Like, you fucking know when I'm on it.
Yeah,
like, you know,
I'm exact same. Mine was ice, bro, but I know what you mean. And fucking, you're on it. The more you try to hide it, the worse you fucking look. Like,
yeah, my eyes just give me away. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was always really well dressed, had nice cars and jewelry and everything. And people used to think, I used to have people guessing because they think a junkie can't be dressed like that, you know.
Yep.
And you know, even going out with girls and stuff like that, you know, I had them second guessing. But, you know, so when I got pinched, like, it was like, you know, that was the first time I ever come across proper gangsters, and they were the form of the old high-up squad. They were just bad cunts.
Yep.
You know, all they wanted to do was rob me and take everything. They found 30,000 cash in my roof that I'd secreted up there. And
so what would 30 grand have been equivalent to these days back then?
90, maybe 90.
Yep.
90 now, maybe 120.
Yep.
And they found that up there, and you know, they split that up between themselves. And then I just couldn't believe the audacity of them. I was like, they were in there trying on because I had the grouse clothes, and I was wearing a pretty good dress up. And they were all trying on my clothes. And I had this suit on there. One day he comes out and he's joking. He goes, "I'm going to give you 10 years in this suit," you know. And even the pair of shoes I had on, and at the time he went to size my shoes up as he was putting me in the cells. I said, "Fuck that, I'll fight for these." I said, "I'm going to have one thing I'm going to do 10, 15 years now. I'm going to have one thing, and it's only a pair of shoes, so be it."
Yeah.
He goes, "All right, I'll be generous. You can keep them." They were just the biggest fucking crooks.
Yeah.
And then went to jail, and I was at the fight last night. There's a bloke there called Kevin Holland, and Kevin Holland, you know, I mean, he was the hardest man in the Australian prison system. He's really well known. He's involved in training Daniel Gill. He's just hard but fair man, you know. And
I've heard you talk about him before, actually. Yeah.
I'm going to catch up and have some lunch with him tomorrow. Anyway, and then I remember him grabbing me, and I had this button-up prison shirt, and I was laying there with straw, and I was in a world of pain, vomiting, and he grabbed me, and he said, "You're going down the oval," and he said, "You're going to run," and he said, "You're going to run this shit out here."
Sweat it out.
And he said, "The options are I just fucking smash you and break your ribs now, or you get down there and have a go." And I was trotting around this thing, and every time I looked like, and he was running himself with a couple other blokes, so he had a team of trainers with him. And he goes, "You fucking stop, Russell. He's going to break your ribs." And I like him. He got me down there for fucking hours, just walking and sweating and everything like that. And I was fucking hell, I thought I was dying. And, you know, 3 days later, I've come good, and he starts to see it, you know, and he said, "Man, if you ever see that, if I ever see you do that to yourself again," he said, "I'll fucking kill you, so I'll just punch you to death."
Yeah. But I suppose he was come across like that, but I suppose he's looking out for you in a way, was he? So he sort of had you under his wing?
Yeah, it comes from a loving place. And to train with Kevin Holland was always a big honour. Like, it was like you know, people who trained with him were called the chosen ones, you know, and I was a chosen one because he seen my potential. And but I made it pretty well clear. I said to blokes, "I'm not sticking around. I'm going to escape." And started training really, really hard for an escape. And we had another bloke come on board who was an ex-SAS soldier, and we told him what our mission was. And it was just funny. Like, this bloke just was one of those blokes. He was an analytical bloke who was working out, and he wanted to know the layout. And he goes, all right. And one day, about 4 days before the escape, he goes, I've got the master stroke. And I said, what's that? He said, get a handful of salt. Get a handful of salt. Walk
Love
up
this
and throw
story,
it.
bro.
And he said, go up and throw it in someone's eyes and see what they do. And so my mate was going one way and I went the other way. And we're going, fucking bang it. And they'll go, oh, fuck. And the first thing I do is just fucking put their hands over their eyes because they don't know what it is.
Yep.
And then you'd apologise to them. You go, oh, look, mate, I'm just planning for an escape. And everyone was, oh, yeah, brother, give you a hug. Everyone was like, oh, because it was fuck the system. Everyone hated the system. So, you know,
you're fucking
mate,
mad, you can't. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, and I heard years later, blokes bridging up going, mate, I let that cunt throw the salt in my eyes, you know. It was like a trophy for him, you know. But it was just, and it worked, you know. And this SAS bloke said, that's all you're going to need. You're going to need that 1 second. It's going to take 1 second. Them hands hit the eyes and you're all gone.
Yep.
So, come off the back of the prison van, we had handcuffs off. We'd made our own handcuff keys. Like back in the day, everyone made handcuff keys out of dustpans, you know.
Yep.
Like a steel dustpan. You know, everyone just had one. So come off, threw the salt in the copper's eyes. I think 2 coppers got the salt in the eyes at the same time, one from me and one from my other mate. And then bang, we're all gone. And, you know, got in, stole a car, made our way to Mount Druitt. And, you know, it was funny because the people in Mount Druitt, I was talking about it today with such love. You know, these people just loved us, you know. They didn't forget, like when I was robbing the banks, I'd pull up and give them the $5 and $10, you know.
Yep.
They're back in $1 and $2 notes, the $1 notes with the brown ones, $2 notes with green, and $5 notes. And I'd just give them the kids, you know, as was done to me. It was like a tradition. I remember the bank robbers giving me these notes, and it was like carrying on the tradition. Yep. And, you know, and also knowing a family that's really struggling, they might have their dad in jail, and you'd see the kids and say, here's a couple hundred, give that to your mum for your dad, you know. And it was like we looked after our life and doing that. But when I escaped, since the first door I knocked on, it was like, mate, geez, you took your time getting in. The beds are made, you know, there's a couple of beds there, one there for your mate. We're just making a nice little roast here for you. It was like the welcome. My mate said, I've never felt it. Like, he wasn't from there. He goes, I've never felt so at home in my life. These people, just how welcoming they were. And so, you know, I was on remand for robbing the National Australia Bank at Turramurra, which was on an affluent area of Sydney, unfortunately. And you know, I ordered a kit. So I said to one of the people, can you get us a kit, which is a bag with some shotguns and some car stealing implements and some balaclavas and a change of throwaway clothes. And man, within an hour, there's a kid. Knock on the door, the kid's there, and they ran off, you know. And so we turned back up at that bank, and this security guard, this poor Vietnamese security guard who I'd robbed it before and taken his gun off him. And then and he was there, and he goes, oh, fuck, mate, not again. It was Christmas, like 15th December 1990, and he goes, mate, I'm going to lose my job this time. And by this time, I had his gun in my hand. I was just had control, and my mate was over getting the money. I me and him just had this conversation. It felt like we were talking for half an hour. He goes, mate, I'm going to lose my job. I said, I'll give you a reference, mate. And he goes, oh, man. He goes, why do you do this to me? I said, I'm not doing it to you. I'm doing it at the bank, mate, you know. And
so he recognised you know, like he recognised who you were and stuff. Like, yep.
And he knew exactly who I was, you know.
Yep.
I had a barber on, but he knew who he was talking to. And then, so on the way, my mate come back over from the counter with the cash. And I just handed him his gun back. I said, Merry Christmas. And he's just looking at me. There's this moment in time. He's looking at me. He's got a gun in his hand, loaded gun. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. And then bang, I hit it, you know. And there's a little bit, but it was just romantic, basically. And,
yeah, man, it's a great story, fucking oath.
And then off we went and stayed at the Hilton Hotel. At the beginning of the night campaign, just do it. So me and the bloke's name was Brett Langford, who I escaped with, and me and him went into the Nike shop and bought all this fucking just do it. Fucking the next day we flew to Perth business class and stayed over there for a few days, and then got a bit hot over there, and went up to Broome, then from Broome to Darwin, you know. Our first night there, Brett met this girl who was worked in a bank, and he just came over and goes, Russell, this is Tammy. She works in the bank. Isn't she beautiful? It was me and him, our fucking brains were clicking there. And we're getting the inside mail on the bank, which she was fucking only too willing to give us. And, so we stayed up there. We were running out of cash, and we robbed the bank up there, and ANZ Bank at Parap.
Yep.
And man, I just really, coming from Sydney, you think everywhere's a big city, and I was just so naive. I was just thinking Darwin's a big city, and it's not. It's fucking...
It's tiny, bro. I've spent lots of time up there myself, yeah.
Well, it's
very
not
little.
as big as Mount. Yeah, it's about population. Back then, it was a population of 70,000.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Hobart. It's about equivalent to Hobart,
yeah.
bro, I think. So, yeah. No big high-rise buildings or anything like that, eh? It's just
none of that. And you know what? We robbed this bank, and the highways are getting blocked off, and we got back to the house, and I said, "What's there been a mass murder on here? Like all these fucking cops, you hear cop cars shooting everywhere." And I was like, and they come on the news, the bank had been robbed. I'm like, oh, mate, a bank robber in Sydney would be lucky to make the paper, let alone the news.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And so anyway, my coach's had some tattoos on his knuckles, and they were looking for him. Anyway, we went to the airport a couple of days later, and they grabbed him. And then I watched them, and I watched it from afar, and I went, fuck, I'm not jumping in their plane because they're waiting for me as well. So I jumped in the car, I drove to a place called Mataranka Springs, which is about 400 k's out of Darwin. And I seen a bus, Greyhound bus. I flagged it down. I had no baggage. I just looked fucking red hot.
Yep.
No baggage where I was going on. So I'm going to Alice Springs. And then back then they used to have these phones, like a car phone thing, and he was on it all night. So he was mailing the coppers where I was, I was still on the bus. And I thought to myself, I've got a bit of a change of ammo here. I've got to change my look. So I got to a place called Pine Creek, and they had second-hand biking boots. I bought them, bus driver pants, fucking pull-up bus driver socks, and an I Love Australia T-shirt and a Cuba hat.
Full tourist look, like.
Yeah, I just went for the fucking Swedish tourist. I was just trying, mate. I was just trying. But I knew, I had a sneaking feeling, I had a gut feeling that shit was about to go bad. And,
yep.
And, when it's going to go bad, you're an escapee, you're on a remand for robbing 3 banks, you're wanted for another 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, fuck
yeah. You've
got that gut feeling, bro. Fucking oath.
When it's going to come undone, it's going to fucking hurt. And anyway, I met this girl on the bus, and she was like a fucking Swedish, Norwegian tourist and all like that. And I made friends with her. I made her a lot of promises. I said, when we get there, I'll take you to 5-star, and she was all for it. And all kissing cuddles on the bus all the way down there.
Yep.
And she thought she was going to get treated like the fucking queen. And I got off the bus, and as soon as I got off the bus, they all fucking jumped all over me, like this task force was waiting for me, and they jumped all over me. And what are you doing? What are you doing, you bully? Get off me! And I'm looking at her, I'm saying, she's looking down at me, going, what the fuck? And I'm saying, Helga, Kelly Emmett, I'm being attacked. And she's looking at me, going, what the fuck? And she just walked up. What the fuck? It was like the longest moment of my life watching her walk. I was like some scene. She left me maybe 5 minutes. And this old copper come up. An old copper called Les Smith, who ended up being a really good guy. He used to drop off boxing magazines and that to the jail for me. And, we just had a mutual respect, because it's never been about them and me for me. I don't, them blokes are doing their job. Do they do it properly? Do it properly. If you're a cunt and corrupt and everything like that, I'll call you on it.
Yeah.
But, and then he came up and said, okay, hands from Sweden. Have you ever got a tattoo on your shoulder? He said, you're going to be on your backpack away. And he just lifted up, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I had a smile on my face and said, God loves a try, right? And he goes, he certainly does. He said that I did work for you. And off I went. I got flown back up to Darwin to face the music. And then Darwin, man, that Darwin up there, man, them fucking rednecks up there, they know fucking violence really well. And it's the language they fucking all speak really well.
Yep.
And, I went to the jail there, and I just got set straight up. They didn't want me in their jail because they just seen me as a threat, because I've done jail.
Would have been Aboriginals.
Yeah. They were. And English was the second language. And from the start, I didn't like how they were being treated. I didn't like the references that the screws were giving them, like the names that they were giving, just all racially based names, and I didn't like it. And I'm a unionist. I'm a fucking unionist through and through.
Yeah.
And I'm going to to them people, I'm going to call these fucking dog shits. And they didn't like me from the word go on. So, no, man, let's fucking calling a black fella a really racist name. I'd say, man, don't call him like that. and you don't talk to them like that. They're fucking human beings, and then just the rednecks didn't like it, so they started setting me up. So you had a dining room, right, and they'd go and grab some bloke and say throw some rubbish out in the grass, and know them full well. So I'd come out and they'd go pick that up, and I'd say I'm not picking up, I didn't throw it, and they'd say, well, lock me in my cell, and I'd say, fucking lock me in myself for 2 weeks. As soon as I come out, do it again. But the bloke they got to do it, on about the third time I've come out and I've just grabbed him and battered him and then poured a big fucking pot of hot tea over his head.
Yeah, wow, yep.
Because I knew what was happening, and then that was it. They got me where they wanted me. They put me in a segregation unit, like a high security unit, for like 9 months straight in complete. Like, I've done segregation, but that was like pretty hardcore. It was like I didn't even have a mattress. I slept on the concrete. I just had a pair of fucking stubby shorts. I was in darkness 23 hours a day. And then they'd let you out to go in the yard and they control the water, right? So they just turn on hot showers. So I bird bathed for 9 months out of a fucking bubbler.
Yeah,
and
bro.
yeah, and then, they come in one day and give me an offer. They said, we'll punch on with you one-on-one, and I said, yeah, that's what you'll say. They said, no. They got the broom, put it under the camera, pushed the camera up to the sky, and it was on. I started having these one-on-one fights with the screws, and it was really good initially because I was beating them easily.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they were going away. And then they were going away training for me, like fucking going to box. They'd bring in boxing coaches and everything like that, and they started beating me. So it took the fun out of it. And then one day, I just seen how much joy they were getting out of it, and I was getting out of it. Like, they were all getting all pumped up and thinking they're all manly and everything like that. One day they opened my cell door and I never come out. And then this one screw, Alan Tunney, I had the utmost respect for. He was the one who said it would be one-on-one. He weren't going to allow me to get outed. And he said, what's going on, mate? I said, I'm not doing it. He goes, why are you doing it? He said, you give up. I said, no, I give up. I said, you are getting too much joy out of this. I'm getting nothing out of it. He goes, that's what you have to do. And I said, Al, I'm just telling you, I'm not giving up. I'm not fucking giving up. I'm just not doing it. He goes, isn't that giving up? And he was sort of trying to antagonise me in a funny way. He's a good bloke. He's from good heart. He's another one, He showed me a bit of love, and I've always shown me a bit of respect and kindness, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Like with a bit of violence added into it,
Yeah. In a hectic time, though, you're locked away in the darkness. Like you're going to grasp onto any bit of kindness,
anything.
Yeah.
And any stimulation. And I can remember at night time, this female officer used to come up, and she's a good sort. I don't know what's going on there, but she used to come up and say, hey, Russ, you all right? And she'd talk to me, and 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, she'd be able to sneak off and come and talk to me. And she'd go, man, I just love your spirit. She goes, you're not letting no one beat you and everything. I said, I can't. Because I give up here, I'm going to die. Just kill me. And I had an awareness. If I laid down and I fucking buckled, and I went into the fetal position and curled up in a ball, I was going to die. And that stuff started to worry me. So, other decisions had to start to be made. Because prior to that, I had a death wish. I didn't give a fuck if I lived or died.
Yeah.
I really didn't. But, I come to this point where I didn't want to die. And, so...
Can I ask, was the heroin still involved around this time?
No, you won't see it up there, especially in that segregation. You don't see anyone.
Yeah.
And it was really, that laid a good platform for me up there.
Yep.
In the Northern Territory jails, you see a lot of medication, like, pharmaceutical medication, because they just hand out anything you want. You said, I want oxy, they'd put you on them. That's how it used to be back then.
Yep.
And so there was no heroin, and I didn't even know about pharmaceutical drugs. I didn't know what they could do to you. So, and they used to offer them. They used to come in the segregation thing and say, oh, we can give you this to make you fucking calm down. I'd say, I don't want it. And they used to try to fucking poison. I just didn't trust them, I didn't trust them. I had good reason not to trust them.
Yeah, of course.
I thought they were going to get it. And long story short, I ended up getting moved out of there. I got moved to Alice Springs prison. I got, fuck, mate, that was an eye-opener. 160 blokes there. Me and another bloke were there, and he was a rapist. And I don't talk to rapists. He was a rapist from South Australia, and I just didn't talk to him. And, one day he spilled some tea on an old elder, and he didn't apologise. And I knew that could cause me trouble too, And I said to him, you better go and apologise to him. He made some racial comment. I said, yes, sweet. So I said to the young black fellas from a place called Jindamoo, the Walpy people, I said, I'll take care of it. I said, get them old fellas around the laundry. I'll show you how I take care of it. And I called him around the laundry. Come around here, come around there. I fucking battered him in front of the fucking, and I just had their respect.
Yeah, I've just earned it on the spot there and then, yeah.
Yeah, I pointed to him. I said, "You fucking disrespect these people again, and I'll do this to you again." And I had him on the ground, fucking and he apologised to him. And I won them over, and they just loved me, and I become part of them. I learned a lot about their culture. I learned a lot about their culture, and their culture's respect-based. Respect-based. Give respect, get respect. It's that fucking simple.
Yeah,
100%. Shake and you'll learn, so I've done a lot of that, and I learned a lot from them people. Eventually got moved back to New South Wales. At the front court for my, my robberies, and that was now 5 robberies and 2 an escape attempt and escape, and I went to 4 at court, and once again I got sentenced to 15 years with an on-parole period of 8 years.
Yep.
Once again, we're going to teach you a lesson for your future reoffender, and we're going to give you this sentence, 15 years to deter you from. I've got them sentences my whole life. These deterrent sentences. You never hear of them applied to sex offenders. You'll never hear a judge say, "I'm going to give you 10 years to deter you from future reoffending." It doesn't happen. It doesn't. I don't know what's written in law, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But you give me 15 years of non-parole period to deter me from future reoffending, But by this stage, by the time I got sentenced, I think it was about 2 or 3 years clean, and I was on my recovery journey, and that started when I was in the segregation unit, because I made a pact with myself. I can't allow anyone to put me in this position ever again.
Yeah.
And who put me in that position was me. So, it was a lot about ownership. It was a lot about taking ownership and doing something with life. So, ended up doing 8 years on that sentence, and I got out 8 years clean. I got out 8 years clean, and I got out 8 years clean, and I began this life. I met a girl, I had a couple of kids, got a business. I was always business minded. I always had a mind for business. I just took what it took to be a bank robber and a criminal into business, and I was always going to go okay.
Yeah. What prison did you serve 8 years in?
I've done most of it at Long Bay. I reckon I've done maybe 4 or 5 years down at the Bay. I went to Goulburn, Lithgow. I went everywhere. Maitland. I got out from John Moroney 1 when I was a minimum security prison.
Okay, yeah.
But I've really done a tour. I went everywhere. And that's New South Wales prisons. You just fucking, you can be in a different jail every fucking 6 weeks. But I've done most of my jail down at Long Bay. I think I've done 8 years. I was at 23. I've done mostly 8 years in total at Long Bay. And so I got out from John Moroney 1, got this business going up. I moved up to the Gold Coast. And, really rocked it, But I always had an underlying issue. That trauma was never dealt with.
Yeah.
And it was with the benefit of hindsight, I was just white knuckling it. I was always going to raise its head. I was always going to raise.
Had you ever spoke about it to anybody at this point, though?
No, too deeply suppressed, because initially I tried to talk about it, I was shut down. I wasn't. And the worst thing you can ever say to an abuse survivor is, "We don't believe that." Because it just locks them up. They won't say nothing. Yeah. And I went through some pretty heavy duty counselling and that in prison. I just never ever felt safe enough to talk about it, and it was never going to happen. And long story short, I'd been out of jail 6 years. I had a mortgage, 2 kids, a successful business. I went back to using, and it started me by drinking, drinking. Snorting coke, dropping pills, having a way about, and then having a shot, and I was back on the fucking merry-go-round again, and and I went fucking like 10 years. I just could not fucking find my feet. I got pinched for a couple of armed robberies, got a bit of a break, got a good sentence on it, and then fucked up straight away. 6 months later, I was back in on more.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, so from 10 years after that,
lose the kid's mum and stuff through this time, like.
All of that. She had another bloke in a relationship, and and then it's just and then one day, and I was on my way to Perth, and I met this guy on the plane. I was up to no good. I was carrying, so I don't know. Some might call it supplements. Some might call it a bit of this or a bit of that. I was taking that over to Perth. And I met this bloke on the plane who was from the Royal Commission Institution of Response to Child Sexual Abuse, which Julia Gillard, the best Prime Minister, with the biggest balls, introduced. And she took on fucking the churches and everything. And she just that woman is a fucking amazing. You know? I reckon I own my life with her, and you know, and I thought nothing of it at the time. He explained to me what the process was. A couple of months later, I got caught robbing a bank up in Gold Coast, Coolangatta, Suncorp Way, Coolangatta, and I've come out of there, got jumped by some fucking super citizens, you know, and
just quickly. So you met this fella on the plane, and what you he explained you to the process to you. So what, you obviously opened up to him a bit, did you?
A little. Look, I was reading a book called Sleepers, and I don't know if you know the movie Sleepers with Kevin Bacon, and it's about a bunch of kids that get abused in an orphanage or a boys' home or something like that, and they all square up on the abusers. And he said I was reading a book. I indicated. I said, yeah, you know, and I sort of made out it was someone else, but it was me. Like he read he knew what he was talking about.
Yep, I'm with you. Yep.
I sort of go, you know. And he goes, well, when the Royal Commission comes in, you know, you'll be able to tell your story, or your friends will be able to tell their story, or whatever, whoever it is. And he said, and you know, and you'll get counselling and everything like that, you know. And so when I came out of this bank up in Coolangatta, I was jumped by a bunch of super citizens, and you know, I remember old mate saying to me, I just saved your life. And I went, fucking just stop punching me in the head. What's punching me in the head? You know, as super citizens do, they want to punch you up and do all these horrible things to you. Long story short, you know, I went to Southport Watch House, and I was like a dinosaur. Like all these young coppers had never seen a bank robber before, and they're fucking wanting to look at me, open doors, and they wanted me to pull me into interview rooms every 5 minutes and think I was going to fucking do a record of interview. Which I remember, I was actually Russell Oxford, who's a copper. I went and seen him on stage the other day, and I remember him being there. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he rolled his eyes and goes, "This bloke will never do a record of interview."
Yeah, wow.
And he said, "Oh," and I said, "I remember it." I said, "I remember fucking at least one of you's got the brain to work that out." These young fellas are trying to tell me how good it'll be for me. I said, "Mate, you think it's my first fucking radio, you know?"
Yeah.
And then I was sort of some sort of fucking prize, you know. I was like a fucking shooting a fucking elephant. And anyway, so, you know, long story short, I went out to Arthur Gorrie Correctional Centre, and, you know, when I got there, I had every intention to fucking end my life. I'd made peace with it. And it's a real scary place to be with the benefit of hindsight, you know. Nothing's going to stop you. Nothing will stop. And the universe had other plans for me. You know?
Yep.
So I got there, and you know, the coaxial cable which I would have hung myself with had been vandalised, so it was about 2 inches long. It wouldn't wrap around my tail, let alone my neck. And I looked out, and there was just nothing. It was about a 42-degree day. I didn't even have fucking sheets. I didn't have a pillow, so just a mattress on a thing. So there was nothing possible you could hang yourself with, because I would have found that I was that fucking entrenched in wanting to do that. And you know, so I had to put off and then, you know, the next day, so I said, all right, the next day I'll get a good coaxial one, and I'll do it tonight, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, you're absolutely just gone.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I was giving up.
Yeah.
I see it today, and I just seen it today. I was at the lights, and I'm in my nice flash car, and I watched this bloke walk across, and I seen me in him. I seen I seen me in his eyes. I seen that broken spirit, you know. A homeless guy just doesn't give a fuck, man. And I looked in his eyes as well, and I just engaged with his eyes, and I was trying to tell him through my eyes, I know how you feel because I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, walked off. But I was gone. I was dead. I didn't need to kill myself. I was already fucking dead. So, but the next day, you know, the universe started hitting some buttons in me for other people. And, you know, so a bloke came up to you got to sell in Queensland, so they've got like a display window in it, like that, so the screws can check up on you overnight, so put a torch, you know, check up on you.
Yep.
Anyway, I suspected this guy was a sex offender because I've done jail with him previously, and he denied it. No. You know, a few people used to say he's a sex offender. And he came up and he had a shot of heroin in a cut-down syringe, and he goes, "You and me have never seen eye to eye, but I'm offering you this as a token of peace, and we can get off to a better." He goes, and I got plenty of it, so. And I looked at him and I banged on the window and I said, no matter how fucking bad I was feeling, no matter how fucking bad, I would never take anything off you. Because you're just a piece of shit. I know who you are. I know who you are.
Yep.
And I said, "Oh, what you fucking done? You think you can hide it?" And I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. I got out. He wanted to kill me that way for what I was saying. I just give him a mouthful.
Yep.
He walked off, and I walked off. And anyway, when I got out, when the cell door came open, there was a young bloke with all these books on his table, and he was studying. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Mate, I remember you gave me all that advice 8 years ago." He said about, living up to my potential and everything like that. I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm being studying to be a psychologist." He looked me up and down with disdain. And he said, "Maybe you should take some of your own advice." And just went back to studying. And I went, "Fuck." I really went, "Oh."
Fucking
But,
bang, bro. Hit ya.
Yeah, and there was a lot of things. But, so as the day passed, I got called for a legal visit. I helped a bloke establish his own legal firm. I just got him heaps of business. I reckon, I told everyone how good he was. So he called me out for a legal visit, and he said, "Mate, I heard you're in some trouble." Really good mates, me and this bloke at that stage. And then he said, "No," he said, "Yeah, mate, I'm not going to let you get thrown under the bus." He goes, "What do you reckon you can earn?" I said, "Mate, I'd be happy to do maybe 5 or 6 years." I said, "I'd be happy with that result." And he goes, "I think I can get you better. How about I get you 3 or 4?" And I said, "Yeah." So long story short, off he went, and then I've come out of the legal boxes, and I'm walking down, and the education block is never over. Like that's like fucking trying to get into Israel,
Yeah, right, yep.
There's screws there, and there's applications, and there's fucking this and that. But anyway, I seen the fucking door open. There's a teacher standing there, so I just walked straight in. They knew who I was from previous sentences. They said, "How you going, Russell?" And I was always, in the past, I was always really fit, and I wasn't like physically, I wasn't looking too good. And she said, "Fuck, you've done a mischief, And she goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'd like to study to be a lawyer, And she goes, "Oh, well, you can do a tertiary preparation program and everything." I signed up there and then. It was unheard of. And no one would have ever been able to do that again. It was just the universe opening doors for me. So I got back to my cell that night. The boys had stacked my cell. They got a TV, coaxial cable, clothes, fucking food, and a fucking writing pad. Writing pad with a bunch of fucking envelopes next to it. And so I sat on my bed, and there was a few things in that day that triggered me. Morally, I wouldn't take a shot off fucking someone who I thought was a scumbag. Previously given him, some advice to a young kid that changed the trajectory of his life in a positive way. I went and see my mate. He reckons I'm not going to do 10 years. I might do 3 or 4, which is bearable. So,
It just goes to show in one day, man. Like, like that's what I say. I say to people, I know mates that have fucking killed themselves and whatnot, and people that are in that headspace, and whether they're fucking washed up on drugs or whatever it is, and they're in that suicidal headspace, bro. Just give it 24 hours, legit. Like it's that much can change. You're a perfect example. Like
a really important message, Tonksy. It's a really important message, brother. You know what I mean? I'm glad. Because that day, man, that was the beginning of the healing journey, and it just kicked off there, and then, and I sat and I said, "Fuck it, I'm going to give myself 110%." I said, "But I've got to deal with this trauma. I'm just fucking you." And the universe, right? So I flicked on the TV. First show comes on. One of my favourite shows is the 7:30 Report on ABC's Best Current Affairs show on TV. So I flick on, bang. Royal Commission Institutional Responses, chasing Brian Houston from Hillsong, which is a fucking rat, and George Pell. And I went, "Fuck, these people are fair income." And then I remember the conversation I had with the bloke on the plane. And I went from looking at that to looking at this writing pad like this. Should I?
Yep.
So, and I did. I wrote it out, and I just thought it'd be cathartic. I thought, even if I write it and then burn it, because I've heard of these parts of some therapy, and I thought, I just put it on paper. It might heal me. It might just do something. I wrote it, folded it up, put it in an envelope. Next day, got on the phone, got the address for the Royal Commission. And this was the hard thing. I stood at the mailbox. It's like throwing a towel in. I kept on. I stayed there for about 7 minutes, just fucking.
Yep.
And went bang. Once in the mailbox, you're not getting it back out.
Yeah, yep.
It was the best thing I've ever done.
Fuck, bro, it gives me goosebumps. Like, fuck.
Yeah, it's the best thing I've ever done. And about 2 weeks later, I get called for a legal visit. Now, when you get called for a legal visit in prison, you don't know if it's the coppers or not. So I've got one foot in the door and I'm saying, who is it? And they're going, the Royal Commission Institution Responses to Child Sex Abuse. So I had a choice then to step in or go, no, tell them to get fucked.
Yep.
Or step out and go back to the unit. And I stepped in. It was the best step I ever fucking took.
Yep.
So, got talking to her. I remember the girl's name, was Michelle Burford, and she said to me, look, first thing they said to me, Royal Commission had this way with words, and they said, first we we believe you. And that's all you ever wanted anyone to do. I just wanted that for fucking years. I just wanted to be believed. And I went, fucking what? And I asked her, I said, what did you say? And I asked her 3 times. She goes, I said, I believe you. And I said, am I hearing things right? And she goes, what do you mean? I said, did you say you believe? She goes, yes, Russell, we believe what happened to you. We know what happened to you. And there's even been people that have mentioned your name about the abuse that happened. And I'm like, wow.
Wow.
I got a bit emotional. And
for sure.
I went, this is how I'm like, fuck, why can't you just do this years ago? Anyway, so I spoke to her for about an hour. And then at the end of it, she goes, we got someone else we want you to start talking with. And I was a trauma counsellor. And I've done trauma counselling with that woman for 4 years, like on a regular basis. Didn't even know what she looked like. It was all by phone. I never done a video link with her, and that was the beginning, and what happened, like what was prolific in this case, like so I got moved to another jail. I got the 4 years that my mate said I was going to get. I went to court and got that, and he was good for his word, and I was in this prison. When you're in prison, everyone knows what's being said on them telephones, right? Everyone knows.
Yep.
Oh, Johnny's fucking son scored fucking 4 goals in the footy or whatever.
Yep.
His fucking daughter's lost the ballet shoes or whatever. And people were getting suspicious in the terminologies I was using on the phone in my conversations. They thought I was, a couple of young fucking gooses thought I was talking to the coppers,
Yeah, okay, yep. I can imagine, yep.
Yeah, so what I had to do to put that possible fire out, because there was a couple of sparks. So I called a yard man and I said, come here. I jumped on the chair. I said, I'm not here telling on people. And I pointed at the uncle. I said, you're fucking trying to stir shit up. I said, you're fucking the money. I said, I'm talking to Royal Commission Institution Responses to Child Sexual Abuse about what happened to me. Not about what happened to anyone else. I don't give a fuck. That's your journey. Mine is what happened to me. I said, because I want to fucking I like some of you blokes, but I fucking hate a lot of you. I don't want to be around you. Your fucking attitude stinks and your breath's even worse.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to be around you. So I said, I want to heal, man. I want to fucking turn my life around. And I said, there's a perfect opportunity with Royal Commission to do it through counselling. So you're going to hear me talk and when I told them the words I was using, and I could see them going, yeah, agreeing. So, I was sexually abused when I was young, and I want to fucking heal from it, and this is my best opportunity to do it, Fucking 65 blokes started clapping and going, fucking wow, how powerful, like that was pretty brave. And even the screw said to me, that could have went wrong for you, And I said, it could have, but, so what am I going to do, die, you know what I mean? Because I was already fucking dead, dead inside in the past, and I wanted to live. That's what I wanted to do mostly.
Yep.
And, and it just changed it. I think fucking 64 people told me their abuse stories while I was in that jail, and I connected them to the Royal Commission and lawyers and everything like that. And, my organisation was born. And I'm a real big, I like to visualise things. So I lay on my bed at night, like, by this stage, I wasn't watching TV. I got rid of the TV. I was studying, and all I was doing was training, studying, and hustling. And
yep.
So, my organisation was born then. I started to realise I had a really good knack of being able to put people at comfort about telling their stories of abuse and hearing them and showing them and supporting them through the process, through my own lived experience.
Yeah, just being a victim yourself, yeah.
And just let them go, letting people talk. And that's the main thing people want to do. They want to fucking be heard.
Yep.
And that was cool. And, long story short, I got moved back to New South Wales and, I was about 4 years. I'd done nearly 4 years. I had 2 weeks to go. I was paroled, going to rehab because even though I was clean, I wanted to learn some life skills. Going to a real good rehab called Bleed House, which Danny Shannon was working at the time, was a really good friend.
Yep.
And And, 2 weeks, coppers turn up with 6 old armed robberies,
Fuck.
But for me, I was pretty fortunate. Like, I ended up spending another 4 months in there trying to get out on bail, and I pulled a good lawyer called Peter O'Brien, and because by this time I'd got some compensation, I had a bit of cash to pay for good lawyers. If you're relying on legal aid, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So I got a bit of cash together and to pay for good lawyers. And the first thing he said, we're going to get you out on bail. And I didn't even believe. I said, no, that's not possible. I won't get on bail. I just wanted to speed up, get the charges dealt with so I could know where I was at. But he said, no, get you out on bail, get you back to a rehab. And went in front of the judge, and the judge was filthy on the coppers. He said, why did you fucking wait so long? So I'm giving him bail. Give me bail. Went to a rehab up at Coffs Harbour. Completed the rehab, and life just fucking got good. I had to go out. Like, I still had to stay around at rehab in an outreach program. But anyway, so I stayed in Coffs Harbour. I set up my little business. At the time, it was RJ Manser Consulting. Went on to be the voice of the survivor. Now it's Warriors Advocacy. And off we went. And I just had people coming out the woodwork that wanted to tell their story of abuse, and I was the only one they were going to trust doing it. And I was processing, around about 50 clients a week.
Wow, unbelievable. Can I just say, it just threw me back to when you was talking about when you stood up on the chair in the yard and, sort of put your fucking story straight. I don't know his last name, but my barber, bro, so I moved to the Goldie a couple of years ago, 18 months ago now, and I got a barber just down the road, and he was actually there, bro. He done jail with you. His name's Andy. I'm not sure of his last name, but he watches all my stuff. He'll no doubt watch this, but yeah, he's mentioned about doing jail with you up here, and even mentioned that as well. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, but because I know he'll watch it. So
yeah, it's a pretty powerful thing, and we're doing a book at the moment where we're in the process of doing a book, and that's how they're going to open the book with that scene. It's pretty powerful. I didn't realise at the time how powerful that was for others, but it inspired a lot of other men to tell their story and begin the healing journey. And it's just, it's been a really good journey. Really good. I've been robbed and ripped off and fucking like. But anyway, so long story short, I ended up starting this business up at Coffs Harbour, and I had people come and go, fucking women just ripping me off left, right, and centre, the worst. And so-called fucking law-abiding citizens, they see you've got this opportunity, and they think because you're a criminal, they can do anything they want to you. Knowing full well you won't go to the police. Knowing full well that he won't go to the police. There's no consequences in this. We can rob him blind, and we're the good guys, But anyway, a bit of that. But it's been a long process. It's been a process along the way, and fast forward to today. You know what I mean? And a few, cuts and bruises along the way. I employ 22 people, got 20,000 clients nationally. We're the biggest support network in Australia for abuse, people that have institutional abuse. I own a beautiful.
You've connected up with one of my good mates, bro, Kane Richardson, down in Tassie there.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, me and Kane go way back, done a bit of jail and stuff together, and but yeah, he's a good lad, bro. Went through similar shit, like.
He's a beautiful soul, Kane. He's a very trouble, and big shout out, Kane. I always check in on him, it's been a really I live by the motto: I give more than I take, and I just have this beautiful life. Like today I just went to the best. Like there's a Newport Arms hotel, and I've got gratitude running through my life. Every cell in my body right now is grateful. Right now, it just permeates out of me. And I say that, because I have resentments, about what had happened to me, and you can't be grateful and have a resentment at the same time. You can't be grateful and angry at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I do little things. Like I was explaining to this guy today. I was working with this abuse survivor today, and he's really fucked up. And I was explaining the importance of gratitude and and letting go of resentment. Because when you practice gratitude, you'll be able to get rid of the resentments. It's just the key to get rid of those resentments.
Yeah, I'm just learning it myself now, mate. I'm still early days, but I'm definitely on the right track, heading in the right direction. I'm learning all these little steps, along the way, and it's fucking working, bro. It really is. Like,
really important. It's really important about us to get, because resentment's a rust the vessel it's contained in. And, having a resentment's like drinking a cup of poison and hoping someone else dies from it. It doesn't work that way. And, I do a lot of work on myself. I've been digging deep, but I've got this blueprint, that works for me. And especially, people who've done a lot of jail and stuff like that. I work for, I got my mate here now. He's done 34 years.
Yeah, wow, yep.
He's done 21 straight, and trying to help, I've got a gift, and, and they talk about it in recovery. You can't keep it unless you share it with others, and I share it freely. Yep. I share it freely. I do. I love it, and, and I'm a big advocate for change in prison.
Yeah, 100%.
I do a lot of that. Through my social media, I call it how it is. If a program's work, let's do it. If screws are being shit bags, I'll call it. Bashing the shit out of people and traumatising people. Violence ain't the answer. There's all this thing in society, in particular in Australia, America, even more so, is this perpetrating violence on someone doesn't make them not do things.
No, that's
just
right,
makes them violent.
Yeah.
Just makes them violent.
Yep.
They just, okay, that's sweet. That's how you deal with things, and it's learned behaviour. I'm passionate about these kids. I want to work with these troubled kids. My biggest fucking obstacle is the coppers. They go, you got a blue card, you can't be. And they know I'm not going to get a blue card because I've got violence in my criminal history. No sexual abuse, no fucking, domestic violence, no nothing. But they just know. Unfortunately, the coppers don't want a solution to that youth crime stuff. They don't want it.
Yeah.
Because it gives them more resources, it gets more coppers, it gets bigger guns, it gets bigger battens and everything. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist here, but that's just a fact.
Yeah.
And there's no getting around it. There's no getting around. That's what they want, and that's what they get. What they want is what they get. And unfortunately, that youth crime crisis can only be addressed through people who've experienced, like blokes like us, man. Them kids are going to listen to us before they listen to some copper with a fucking folder under his arm saying, you'll get locked in jail if you bloody fucking steal. And them kids couldn't give a fuck about that. It's nothing to worry about.
100%.
Mostly better conditions in there than they've got at home. Now, that's the problem. So we've got to fix up what's going on at home. We've got to create a safe place for these kids, and then they're not out in the street doing crime and stuff like that, And, I've got to, but I'm here to talk to other people, and I'll say through hard work, like I work, I've got a bit of work to do after. I'm actually working till 10 o'clock tonight, but I've been on the go since 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, wow, bro, good stuff.
But, and through hard work, no matter what, I get out of jail and I said I'm going to work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years and see where I'm at, how much money I saved. And I did it, and that's the way to do it. I say to these people, keep yourself busy. That's the problem. People sit at home on the PlayStation and then they start hating on other people, because their fucking life is fucking putrid and their failures.
Yep.
Start hating on other people and they become toxic. And then they get toxic, and then one day they realise how toxic they are, and they fucking start indulging in fucking drug use because they fucking hate who they've become.
Yeah, I've learned one thing. Like, I was always very self-conscious, especially when I was on the gear and that. Very self-conscious of how I looked or what people were saying about me. The main thing I've learned, bro. And like I said, I'm still very early days, but the one thing I've learned is to not give a fuck what anybody thinks about you, bro. And honestly, I live so happy every day, to literally, truly in here be able to not give a fuck is so big to me, it's...
True freedom. That's free. That's freedom, and that's true freedom. And that's what I try a lot of stuff that in, people put a hating comments on it. You know what? And I handle haters really well. I look at haters, right? And I look at them and I go, that's just the person who's being reflective and deflective, or projective. So they're projecting all that inner shit that they feel about themselves onto me, hoping they're going to feel better from it. And they won't.
Yep.
Because it won't have no effect on me, man.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a love. I understand you. Hey, listen, brother, I know you're not feeling good. You need a hug. I'll give you a hug.
Yeah.
I used to say cries with black eyes, but I won't even do that because that's just, that's self-fucking defeating for me. But I understand them people. I said, I lived with prison officers for 23 years. They are the fucking worst haters you'll come across.
Yeah.
Them people hate themselves. They fucking hate themselves that much because they're just fucking shit. Some really good ones, and I acknowledge ones. I've got friends that are prison officers. A bloke called Dino Billinghurst is a boxer. I always had utmost respect for him as well because they treated me fairly.
Yeah.
They weren't corrupt, but they just treated me fairly, and that's all. That's what you want. Like if you're gonna, how can you bash someone, right? Because they're criminals. So you're bashing someone by way of assault, which is a crime.
Yeah.
And so what? You're a criminal yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
So
exactly. It's just
you're hating on yourself.
Vicious circle, eh? Like at the end of the day, it's just fucking.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah.
It's traumatizing. I just, like my life is so good. When I say so good, my success is my peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's my greatest achievement.
Yeah.
My greatest achievement is my peace of mind, and my sanity is my greatest asset. And it's what I appreciate because I've been at times where I didn't have my sanity. I was loose, and you know what I mean. I was a very fucking damaged, angry fucking young man. I'm not that angry young man today. I'm a whole person. I'm complete. I'm not looking for it.
Like I've been watching your journey, Russ, for the last few years. Like first come across you a few years ago when your face sort of started to appear around the place. And look, mate, you're a perfect example of somebody that can go from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Yeah.
Personally, bro, you're a fucking inspiration to me and a lot of people. Yeah, congratulations to you, bro. I love watching your shit. Like all your content and stuff. It's very uplifting and like I said, inspiring, bro.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, no, and
I've got to say about that. When someone gives me a compliment like that, I thank them for being part of my healing journey.
Yeah.
Because it is, because that's that whole, when you're so fucking badly traumatized, one thing you lose is self-love, self-belief, right?
Yeah.
So when people tell you how, what amazing work you do, it builds they're investors in your fucking healing.
Yeah.
And self-confidence and self-belief. You hear that you're a good person enough, you're going to fucking start to believe it. You know what I mean?
That's right, 100%. And that's another thing that I'm learning myself at the moment too, And, and just, like, also, bro, like, without sounding like a fuckwit, you have a look at you. You ain't a young bloke, and you look fantastic, bro, for your age. Like fucking unbelievable. Not many blokes out there are definitely not to the standard you're at anyway. Like it's unbelievable to think of somebody that went through so much trauma, so many years of hectic drug abuse. IV drug abuse, like. To have a look what you look like today is just pat yourself on the back, brother.
But that's my message through how I look is hard work.
Yeah.
If you're committed, and I say that to people, I say that to places. If you work hard enough, you can have anything you want. You want a good body, you want fucking abs, I went out today to lunch today with the best looking girl in my gym. She's fucking Miss Bikini World.
Yeah.
So she's a fucking glamour. I took her out. I'm not saying that's, and it's not in a sexualized way. She's she's girlfriend material and possibly, but she's just a beautiful soul. And I get phone calls from Mark Burris, one of the fucking smartest businessmen in Australia. And I hate to use that cliche, your vibe attracts your tribe, but when you're putting out positive vibrations, good people, good things come into your life,
Yeah.
If you put out shit, hater behaviour, if you're putting out shit, hater behaviour will come into your life. Shit people will come into your life.
Yep.
If you're looking for the bad in fucking something, bad will come into your life. Yep. I'm always looking for positivity. Mark Burris said to me the other day, he said, Russell, your greatest asset's your curiosity.
Yep.
And he said, because you ask why and how. How'd you do it? You want to know about how things work. And I think, it's true. Like you want to get clean. You want to know how you get clean.
Yeah, that's right. Fucking oath, yeah.
And I get that. I get it. I'm so blessed that I've got that curiosity. The universe, man, give me God, universe, call it what you, I just call it universe.
Yeah.
Man. And it has
whatever it is, it's a fucking beautiful thing, bro, isn't it? It's like,
it's made me believe. And I pinch myself. I've got my gratitude list here. I hit it every day, and I've got my routines. But that gratitude list, I'm meant to write 5 things. When I write 20, man, the next day, what's in my life is tenfold, and I've got tenfold gratitude, so I could write 50.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
So young people, don't give up. Don't give up. You know, something might get hard. It gets hard for a reason. Suck it up. Fuck that. Turn that fucking hard time into resilience.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Look, we're coming to an end, Russ.
Yeah, good. Oh man, it's been a cracker. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Tonksy.
likewise, bro. I'm definitely looking forward to putting this one out for sure, brother. But look, just quickly, bro. You know, if maybe there's some people that watch my stuff that don't know of you that are now interested in you, where can people find you, bro? Give us a spill on your socials.
Oh mate, Russell_Manser, Manscr on Insta, Russell_Manser on TikTok, Russell Manser on Facebook. I answer every single message, and you know, it's frustrating because Instagram's taken that. Like, I always get a voice message, but you got to fucking type a few messages before you can do a voice message.
Yeah.
But I always answer. Anyone sends me a message, I'm in my phone all the time, so I answer all messages. If it's through the abuse work or just fucking mentoring, you know, I've just got a good gig with, you know, I'm doing a lot with kids and their families at the moment, and possibly a couple of NRL football clubs. But
yeah, unreal, bro. Yeah, was that the good news you wanted to spill? Was it? You mentioned you had a bit of really good news.
Yeah, got that, you know, and we got that, and you know, I've got another book. It will be released September, so we're just in the talks with publishers and that at the moment. So we've a really red hot author, and yeah. Oh man, I've just got so much good going on in my life. And like, when I say that, just I love meeting new people. I went to the boxing last night and met fucking heaps, you know, and heaps of Mount Druitt as well. It was just like a Mount Druitt fucking reunion.
Yeah,
but the most important thing I say to anyone, man, find your peace of mind and find your happiness, you know, and you do that when you bathe yourself in fucking gratitude, you know. Yeah. It's not a hard fucking thing. It's fucking quite simple. Once you start to really suck it in and truly be grateful, man, your life will fucking, that universe will go fucking there you go. It will fucking shine upon you.
Well said, brother. All right, bro, we'll wrap it up there. I really appreciate it, bro. And like I said, you're a fucking inspiration, brother. I look forward to watching you more in the future, brother. Guys, that's Russell Manser, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.
Thank you, brother.